The first time I saw her, I thought she was just another ambassador from a distant world. The meeting room aboard the Ardent Horizon was cold, sterile, and buzzing with holographic displays tracking trade routes, fleet movements, and diplomatic communications. She stood at the far end of the room, her presence commanding without a word. She wasn't human, of course. Her skin shimmered with a subtle metallic hue, and her eyes were the kind of color-shifting orbs I'd only seen in deep space fauna scans. Yet there was something in her stance, in the tilt of her head, that made her almost relatable. I was assigned to assist her during her diplomatic visit, primarily to ensure no cultural faux pas escalated into interstellar tension. My role was technical: manage communications, adjust environmental controls, and monitor the AI translators. Nothing that would bring me into direct contact with her, at least officially. But fate and curiosity had other plans. The first contact. It happened during the first briefing. She was examining a holographic map of contested asteroid fields when the display flickered. I stepped forward to recalibrate the projector. "I can handle it," she said softly, without looking at me. Her voice resonated not in words, but in a subtle vibration I could feel against my chest. It wasn't threatening, just present. "I know," I said, trying to keep my tone professional. "But sometimes a human touch is necessary." The moment I adjusted the final control knob, she turned to me. Her eyes were wide, reflecting the map's blue light. Then, almost imperceptibly, they shifted, gold to green, green to violet, then settled into a deep, liquid silver. I froze. Not because of fear, but because something inside the room had changed. It wasn't the air, the lighting, or the map. It was her. Her lips curved into the faintest smirk. "Interesting," she murmured. "I did not expect a human touch to produce that." The shift begins. After that, interactions became complicated. Any time our hands accidentally brushed over a console, her eyes would change. And every time, I felt it: a pull, a connection I couldn't explain. The other crew noticed it too. At first, they dismissed it as coincidence or maybe the hallucinatory effect of long space travel. But when her mood visibly shifted according to my proximity, whispers started. Some speculated she was telepathic. Others thought it was chemical. I didn't care about the theories. I just knew I couldn't stop thinking about those eyes. One evening, she called me to her quarters under the pretext of checking sensor readings. The room was circular, softly lit, and the air hummed faintly with the resonance of her planet's atmosphere. "Touch this," she said, extending a hand toward a small alien device. I obeyed, gently placing my fingers on hers. Instantly, her eyes flared a brilliant violet, almost painfully bright. My chest tightened, and the world seemed to narrow until it was just us. "I don't understand it," she whispered. "I've felt reactions before, but never like this." "Neither do I admitted. "But it's different. Powerful." She tilted her head, studying me, and I realized she wasn't just curious. She was assessing me, judging me, trying to understand if a human could withstand whatever this was. A dangerous discovery. The next day, a crisis erupted. A rogue faction from her home system had launched an unsanctioned attack on one of the trade outposts. Her calm demeanor fractured, replaced by a predator's precision. I watched from the command bridge as she coordinated defenses, her eyes flicking over schematics and communications faster than I could comprehend. When the battle ended and the rogue ships were retreating, she called me to the bridge. "Stand here," she ordered. I stepped forward hesitantly. She reached out and lightly touched my shoulder. Her eyes shifted again. Silver, then gold, then a shade of green the first didn't know existed. The effect was instantaneous. The lingering tension in the bridge evaporated, and for the first time, the crew reported feeling calm, almost euphoric. "It's you," she said, her voice barely audible. "Something about your touch stabilizes everything." I could barely process the implications. If it wasn't just me, but a broader influence, this could alter diplomacy, military strategy, even planetary interactions. A human affecting an alien psyche in ways no one had ever imagined. The confession. Days later, she summoned me again, this time in private. I entered her quarters, expecting technical discussion. Instead, she closed the door behind me, her gaze unwavering. "I've been honest with few," she said, pacing slowly. "But you? I cannot ignore you." My stomach tightened. "Me?"
Yes.
"You are unlike the others. Your touch, your presence, it triggers something in me I cannot fully explain. And that scares me." I don't know what to say," I stammered. "Then don't," she said, stopping before me. "Just know this. Our worlds could change because of this. You could change me. You could change everything." Her hand reached for mine again. This time, I didn't hesitate. And as our fingers touched, her eyes flared again, more vivid than ever, and I felt something shift inside me as well. Connection, understanding, even a strange kind of power flowed between us. The political fallout. Word of our interactions leaked quickly. Some factions on her planet demanded I be removed. Others whispered that this human could become a weapon or a bridge. The council debated. Was I a threat? A curiosity? A catalyst? She defended me fiercely. "He is not just a human," she said. "He is the first I have met who balances me." I didn't fully understand what that meant. But I did know that fear, suspicion, and politics paled in comparison to the simple truth of our connection. The shift complete. Weeks passed. I trained under her guidance, learning her customs, her language, and even some of her abilities, controlled, subtle manipulations of the environment she had never taught others. She never pushed me too far, but she never held back either. Then, during a quiet night on the observation deck, she looked at me with those shifting eyes. "I need you to understand something," she said. "Not just for us, but for both our peoples. Our worlds may survive or fail depending on what we do together." I nodded. "I understand." Her hand found mine. Her eyes shifted, now a steady silver, calm yet intense. "Good. Because everything has shifted, and nothing can go back to the way it was." I realized she was right. Between her and me, something unprecedented had begun. Trust, empathy, and even a form of human-alien synergy that neither side had thought possible. Ending. Months later, peace negotiations across 3 star systems bore fruit, not through intimidation, fleets, or weapons, but through collaboration. The alien woman and I presented a united front, demonstrating that human insight paired with her leadership could stabilize entire regions. Her people were wary at first, but even the skeptics could not deny the results. Planets once on the brink of rebellion now flourished under shared governance. Trade resumed, old rivalries softened, and the galaxy began to feel alive again. She turned to me one final time before a council meeting, her eyes a calm, unwavering silver. "You changed me, and because of that, you changed everything." I swallowed. "And you changed me." For the first time in my life, I realized that the most powerful force in the galaxy was not technology, not armies, not even diplomacy, it was connection.